Hi, hello. Again, we're going to solve this question number 3. This question is about describing this variable here, international calls, for current customers. So, given that I'm not interested in close contracts, I'm going to solve this exercise using my dataset called current dataset. Okay, this current dataset is the one containing only current customers. Okay, I have here the variable to explore. But first of all, be sure that because I've already finished my last video where I solved question number 2, be sure that your file is not a split, because in my case the file is a split by the variable sample5 because I've already finished the last video splitting my file. So I will move to data, split file, and remove this split. I'm going to select this standard option, that is analyze all cases, do not create groups. Now my file is not a split, as you can see here in the status bar. Okay, and the first thing I'm going to do is to use graphs, as I always say, to explore these variables. So I move to graphs chart builder. Okay, yes, this chart builder is also loaded, let's say, with the last graph I asked during my last video. So first of all, I'm going to reset. Okay, reset to clear all the elements here. Okay, if I need to explore and scale variables such as this one, international calls, the best option maybe is an histogram, a simple one. Okay, that's it. And then I select this international call variable as the x-axis variable to represent, and I click OK. And what I see is a very particular type of histogram, that is this one, where you can see that there are lots of people, around 400 people, 400 customers that basically with a zero value here, so people that don't make international calls at all. And this is the interesting point of the exercise. If you want to describe this variable, you need to start by let's say identifying this particular feature, saying something like, well, there's a significant percentage of people that don't make any international calls, and then in a second stage trying to describe the rest of the people. So that's exactly what we are going to do. What I'm going to do is to split the file, or to, let's say, to see first how many people doesn't make any call here. So I'm going to move here to data view here. Okay, and what I'm going to do is first of all to select cases. Okay, select cases. Yes, with people, select cases with international calls greater than 0. Okay, international call greater than 0. Okay, I'm going to use this option here, copy selected, filter out unselected cases, and to get this variable here, filter dollar, that basically contains international callers, let's say, people that makes any international call, some international calls. I'm going to change the name just to keep the variable, and I'm going to call this customers internet. Okay, internet callers or internet customers. Okay, so I have this interesting variable identifying people that makes international calls. Okay, here selected. Then I'm going to remove the filter just to compare both. Just to start comparing both, I'm going to remove data, select cases, all cases, and the first thing I'm going to do is to see how many people doesn't make any international call. And it's very easy if I simply ask for the frequencies analysis, okay, of this international variable here. This this variable I have already created, and that I've called it internet customers. Okay, if I ask for the frequencies, what I see is basically that around 42% of people doesn't make any international call, and this is of interest. I mean, this is something of interest to report. The first thing I have to report is something like this. Okay, take into account that if you look at your current customers, around 42% of people doesn't make any international call, and this is very interesting for you to know. Okay, and now let's describe in a second step what happens. I mean, the distribution and the mean values of these people here that really make international calls. So I once again select these cases, select the cases. Okay, if condition is satisfied, I can use this the same condition as before, or I can simply use this variable here that is called internet as a filter variable. Okay, this is another option. I've created this variable, changing the name, the system name, so I can now use this variable as a filter variable. Okay, it's exactly the same to use this conditional, this variable as a filter variable. Okay, I click OK, and then given that I'm only taking into account people that makes international calls, now I can analyze, for example, descriptive statistics of these international calls. And what I see is basically, for example, a mean of 9 minutes. I can also use the chart builder again to explore once again international calls distribution, but only for these international customers. Let's say I have here, so you can now talk a little about this kind of distribution here. So, but the interesting point is that if you don't filter out those customers without any kind of international, let's say, activity, you are making a serious mistake when describing your customers. So the right way is first to say, well, I have around 0.5% of my around half of my customers that are not international callers, and for the rest I can say blah 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 and describe the rest. Okay, and this is very, very common. So the idea is basically, you notice it's quite critical to separate both groups. You know, the mean is 941. If you simply ask for the mean for the whole data set of customers without taking into account that that you have people without any kind of international activity. If you ask for the mean, what you can see here, I'm going to repeat the first histogram I did. I simply click OK because the graph is already selected and the variable to represent. If I click OK, look at the mean here. The mean is 5.5. Let's say. Well, this mean is not really true, because this mean is not representing anyone. It's a kind of combination of lots of zeros and a mean of around 941 for the rest. So what makes sense is to say, well, I have a 0 for 42% of my customers, and then a mean of 942 for those that have international calls. Okay.